Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. The Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, tabled the Economic Survey 2019 before the Parliament today. The Economic Survey reviews the important economic developments related to the Indian economy in the previous 12 months, and since it is prepared by a team under the Chief Economic Advisor, it is expected to be, and it is meant to be, a very authentic statement on the present state and condition of the Indian economy. With a very continued slowdown of the Indian economy quarter after quarter, it has become very evident that the slowdown in the growth of the Indian economy is the mother of all that is wrong with the economy today. And the Economic Survey very rightly focuses on the languishing growth and languishing investments, both of which go hand in hand. Under the Modi 1 regime, there was a reluctance to accept this worrisome development on the economic front, and we all know doctors' statistics were given in order to prove otherwise. But then, agency after agency, including the World Bank, including the International Monetary Fund, etc., started pointing out that there has been a perceptible continued slowdown in the Indian economy. And with those pointers coming and the bitter elections nearing an end, the Modi government too has also started accepting that things have not been good. There has been a slowdown in the Indian economy. And that is why when this government was formed, among the two first high-powered committees that the Prime Minister constituted, the Cabinet Committee on Investment and Growth was the first one. It just shows that there is now a political recognition that there has been a slowdown in the Indian economy. If you quote statistics, for the March quarter 2019, the Indian economy recorded a growth rate of a mere 5.8%, which is the lowest in 17 quarters. And for financial year 2019, the growth rate of the Indian GDP was 6.8%, the lowest in the last 5 years. And as I pointed out, it has been actually going down quarter after quarter. In respect of the slowdown in the March quarter, the Economic Survey says that it has been caused because of the political uncertainty on account of elections and also because of the NBFC crisis. We really don't think so, because despite the elections being over, there is no really significant pickup in the economic activity, and most agencies agree that there is going to be a slowdown in the next 2 quarters also, which is when India's growth rate will bottom out and perhaps thereafter start going up. Despite this, the Economic Survey says that India's economy will grow at the rate of 7% during the current financial year, as against 6.8% last year. And it also says that in order to achieve the Prime Minister's target of India becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025, the economy will need to record a growth rate of 8% year after year. A number of experts think that 8% is not enough. It will have to be at least 11% year after year. So the fact is, growth is an issue, and the Economic Survey focuses on it. The Economic Survey makes a statement. It says that the downturn in investments has bottomed out, and it says that for various reasons that it believes, economic growth as well as investments growth will pick up. And there are a various bunch of diverse factors why the Economic Survey says that investment in India will pick up and so will economic growth. And what are those reasons it gives? The first reason it gives is political stability. The survey says that on account of political stability, there will be an increase in consumption, there will be an increase in investment. The second reason it says is that Reserve Bank is pursuing a loose monetary policy wherein interest rates are going to come down. It will only encourage more borrowings and more investments in the economy. The third reason why the Economic Survey says that investment will pick up is that it says that the bad loans of banks have narrowed down, and because of that, they will lend more. They will be able to give more loans for investments, and corporates will also be able to borrow and investment in new projects such that the overall investments will pick up. The next reason it says is that capacity utilization is expected to go up on account of these factors. People will buy more, consumer demand will go up, capacity utilization will go up, and entrepreneurs will be encouraged to set up new projects. The survey says that there should be, or there is likely to be, very benign government policies which will encourage FDI into the country. And when FDI comes in, investments always go up. And finally, it predicts that there is a consumption recovery taking place, because of which there will be a further investment into new projects by various entities. While it is good that the economic survey focuses on this burning issue of languishing investments and languishing growth, but we think that this reasoning under which this chief economic advisor says that investments will go up, there will be an upsurge in growth, we think that the reasons he gives have a flawed logic. The first reason he gives is political stability. He says that because of political stability, growth will go up. But then he ignores the fact that the present slowdown has occurred because of the Modi regime, one, which was between 2014 to 2019. There was political stability at that point of time too. Then why did we have a slowdown? So the emphasis on political stability as a reason for growth going up does not seem to be acceptable. The second that the survey misses is investments have not been taking place. Consumers have not been spending because of lack of confidence. If there is no confidence, the investor will not invest, the consumer will not spend. And the survey bypasses this completely. The third reason, which shows a flaw in the reasoning, is ease of doing business. Unless the ground reality on ease of doing business does not improve, investments will not improve. An entrepreneur is not going to be enthused to make further investments and risk his capital if he is not convinced about the ease of doing business, protecting his investments and giving a return thereon. And finally, it does not talk about rural demand. Consumer spending has gone down, capacity utilization has gone down, corporate profits have gone down because of a dip in rural demand. And unless rural demand doesn't shoot up, which will be only on account of rural incomes going up, you will not have a growth going up or an investment in the economy going up. So we think that the reasoning given in the economic survey is flawed to this extent. But let's keep that aside. We do understand that India needs a very serious and sincere policy dispensation in order to get growth on a good path, and so would be the case of investments. But let's keep that aside and let's try to read between the lines. What is expected in the budget tomorrow if you look at the economic survey today? According to us, it's very clear that the government tomorrow will be announcing an increase in recapitalization of banks. So expect the government to be pumping in more money in banks by way of capital so that they can lend more money. The government's finances are strained, revenue collection is a question mark, and so do not expect any cuts in income tax rates. Corporate tax rates will remain what they are. The economic survey mentions FDI looking up. In other words, expect more FDI liberalization measures being announced by the government. Expect incentives for new investments to be given by the government, because there is an emphasis and recognition on investments to be encouraged. And finally, do not expect the government's ability to spend to be too much. The treasury is in a tough situation. Money is not there. The government has already announced a lot of expenditures on account of populist spending. So do not expect the government's ability to spend on projects and productive expenses, because the revenue is just not there for doing that. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.